the forgotten village that built a future. In a remote corner of the world, nestled between towering mountains and dense forests, there existed a small, isolated village named Lumora. It was a village frozen in time, untouched by the progress of the modern world. The people of Lumora lived simple lives, depending on the land for their survival. They had no machines, no technology, and only a few traditions passed down from their ancestors. Their existence was peaceful, but hard, as every day was a battle to grow enough food, find clean water, and survive the changing seasons. Despite their struggles, the villagers were content. They knew little of the outside world and had never questioned their way of life. The elders of the village had taught them that they must accept what life gave them, good or bad. And so year after year they toiled, planting crops, tending to livestock, and hoping that the rains would come in time to save their harvests. The village was isolated, and no one had ever come to visit, or so it seemed. One day, an old man arrived at the edge of Lumora. His clothes were tattered, his feet weary from travel, but his eyes gleamed with a light that no one in the village had ever seen. He carried with him a large, mysterious bundle wrapped in cloth. The villagers were curious, but also suspicious. Outsiders had never ventured this far into their lands, and they didn't know what to make of the old man. Still, they were kind people, and they invited him to sit by their fire, offering him food and water. The old man accepted their hospitality and sat quietly for a while, observing the village around him. He saw the children playing in the dirt, the women fetching water from a distant stream, and the men struggling to till the dry, cracked earth. Finally, after a long silence, the old man spoke. "I come from a place far beyond these mountains," he said, his voice low and calm. "A place where the earth is rich, the crops are plentiful, and the people live in harmony with the land. I have brought with me something that can help you, something that will change your lives forever." The villagers exchanged uneasy glances. Change was not something they were comfortable with. They had lived the same way for generations, following the same traditions and relying on the wisdom of their elders. But there was something about the old man's words that stirred a quiet curiosity in their hearts. "What have you brought us?" asked the village elder, an old woman whose face was lined with the wrinkles of time and experience. The old man smiled and carefully unwrapped the bundle he had been carrying. Inside was a simple book, worn with age but still intact. The villagers were puzzled. None of them could read, and they had never seen a book before. "This book," the old man said, "contains knowledge about the world, about farming, building, and learning. It is a gift that was given to me long ago, and now I pass it on to you. With this knowledge, you can improve your lives, grow more food, and live more comfortably. But it will take effort, patience, and most of all, the willingness to learn." The village elder studied the old man's face, searching for any sign of deceit, but she found none. She nodded slowly, accepting the book from his hands. "We will try," she said, "but our people have never learned from books. How can we use it if we do not know how to read?" The old man's smile deepened. "That is where the journey begins. I will stay here and teach you, if you are willing to learn." The days that followed were unlike any the village had ever known. The old man set up a small gathering space in the center of the village, and every day men, women, and children came to listen to him. He taught them how to read the strange symbols in the book, starting with simple words and phrases. At first, it was slow, and many became frustrated, but the old man was patient, encouraging them to keep trying, to believe in their ability to learn. As the weeks passed, something remarkable began to happen. The villagers, who had once thought they were too old or too set in their ways to change, started to grasp the power of the written word. They learned about new farming techniques that could save water and increase their crop yields. They discovered how to build stronger, more durable homes to protect them from the harsh elements. They even learned about basic medicine, how to treat wounds and illnesses that had once plagued their community. Slowly but surely, the village of Lumora began to transform. The dry, barren fields that had once barely sustained them were now green and full of life. Their crops grew taller and stronger, producing more food than they had ever imagined. The village, once struggling to survive, now thrived. The people, once fearful of change, embraced it with open arms. But it wasn't just the physical changes that transformed Lumora. The villagers themselves changed. They became more confident, more curious about the world around them. They began to ask questions, to seek out new ideas, and to challenge the old ways of thinking that had kept them in the dark for so long. The children who had once played in the dirt without a care in the world now gathered around the old man, eager to learn about far-off lands and new ways of thinking. Word of Lumora's transformation began to spread. Travelers from nearby villages heard about the miraculous changes and came to see for themselves. They were amazed by what they found, a once-forgotten village that had become a beacon of knowledge and progress. They, too, wanted to learn from the old man and his book, and soon Lumora became a center of learning for the entire region. The villagers of Lumora, who had once lived in isolation, were now connected to the world in ways they had never imagined. They traded their surplus crops with neighboring villages, shared their knowledge, and learned from others in return. The village, once forgotten, had become a place of hope and possibility. Years passed, and the old man grew even older. His time in Lumora had come to an end, and he knew it was time for him to move on. But before he left, he gathered the villagers one last time. "You have learned well," he said, his voice full of pride. "But remember, the knowledge in this book is just the beginning. True knowledge comes from within. It is your curiosity, your willingness to learn, and your desire to improve that will continue to guide you. Never stop asking questions. Never stop seeking the truth." With that, the old man left Lumora, disappearing into the mountains as mysteriously as he had arrived. The villagers watched him go, their hearts full of gratitude and respect. They had been given a gift far greater than they had ever expected, the gift of knowledge and the power to shape their own future. The village of Lumora never forgot the lessons they had learned. They continued to grow, to learn, and to teach others. And though the old man was gone, his legacy lived on in the hearts and minds of the villagers who knew that the future was theirs to create. Moral: true power lies not in what we have, but in what we know. Knowledge is the key to progress, and with it, even the smallest and most forgotten of places can build a future filled with hope, possibility, and greatness.